Now, we were in the process of making a reality show, so we had cameras all over the place. There is nothing confidential that goes on. You ask Ed, because me and him fight about it all the time, in that building that I don't know about, he doesn't know about, the whole world, because he live streams his life. That's how you know about him. He's out there. They sent somebody in. We put up a picture and said, hey, does anybody know this guy? We want to know who he is. And Ed taunted their case. Look at this guy you have. I want him to come to court. I want to get him on the witness stand. I want him to testify. I'm going to represent myself. That's not intimidation, but he was making fun of the prosecutor and making fun of their case. And he had also got indicted for cyberbullying. A 250-pound cop, he cyberbullied, and they indicted him for that. So here's a man who was on 322 East State Street, NJWeedman joint, so you have to come eat there, you guys, when you're down there.
After 11.
After 11, no, you can come during the day, you won't get arrested. So, I mean, here's a guy who's walking up and down State Street every single day. They got an indictment because Robert Edward Fortune put a name on Facebook, you know, with the approval of his attorney, put a name on Facebook of our confidential informant, who was never going to be a witness anyhow, so I don't know how he could have been a confidential informant. So they got an indictment, and on March the 3rd, the police didn't wait, the U.S. Marshals didn't wait for him to come down to State Street, which is 2 blocks from the police department where people get shot in front of every day in Trenton. They drove 72 miles to my house to intimidate my children and put AR-15s in my kids' faces and call me on the phone and tell me that they were going to arrest me for harboring a fugitive, and they were going to arrest me for interfering or whatever it is with their business. And I said, I know you can't do that. And they said, well, you need to tell us where he is. I said, I'm at work. I don't know where he is. I'm a nurse. I work in a hospital. I don't know where he is. So they proceeded to call me, tell me if I didn't tell them where he was, they were going to arrest my daughter who was in the house and who is autistic. I called my other daughter hysterical. My daughter went there, and it's on video. You can watch our videos. They're on his page at Fortune, or my page, Debi Madaio, or NJWeedman joint. And my daughter is begging and pleading with the police, who never showed us a warrant, begging and pleading. Please don't scare my sister. Please, she's autistic. Please don't shoot my dog. We have a pit bull. My daughter is, and she's 26. But my daughter, I raised her right. You don't talk to the police. And when they ask you something, you ask them for a warrant. And they told my daughter, we don't have to show you a warrant. We don't have to show you anything. You better tell us where he is, and you better tell your sister to open the door. Well, anyhow, they pointed up to the bedroom window because, of course, Mr. Fortune, like I said, he's out there. He was doing a Facebook Live as the U.S. Marshals were surrounding my house. So they knew he was in the back bedroom, but they only had a body warrant. They pointed up to the front window and they said, there he is, I see him, call the prosecutor, we can get a warrant. Now, I had said to him, please, go across the hall and make sure the pit bull is in a crate so they don't shoot the dog. And he said, I'm not going across the hallway into that room, the police will see me. That is the room that they said they saw him. So it was a lie. It was all a lie. We never saw any warrants, we never saw anything. So from March the 3rd, Ed has been incarcerated. He went up against this new Bail Reform Act, and nobody knows how to do an appeal. That's the whole thing. Wow. You have to have this in within 5 days, you have to do an appeal. But if you apply for a public defender, you will not get one for months. So you can't do the appeal. And you have to have all your discovery. So he didn't have his discovery. He went up, he won a new bail hearing on April the 27th. So now it's what? How much longer, and he's still in jail. And he's a political prisoner because he made Stephanie Katz, the assistant prosecutor, the public defender's office, all look foolish because even the police officer, he can read. And he said, we're not in a residential zone. This is how it all started. And then with posting this online, this was his trying to prepare his trial, so it's ridiculous. But he's a political prisoner. We've been screaming and yelling, but who do you scream and yell to when you're a victim of the police? I'm a victim of the police. So I have a business that the police, when they weren't there, they were pulling up their cars in front of the place, trying to scare everybody away, trying to say we were doing all these things, and we're not. Heroin is rampant there, homelessness is rampant, we employ the people on the street, you know, everything is like a good vibe on our end of the street. I mean, it's insane. So it's been a nightmare. And he's in jail, and he's doing a hunger strike right now. And thank God that you guys, well, thank God that Michelle came along and saw all the stuff we put online, because no one has helped us. The public defender's office refused to file his briefs because they had emails in them from his attorney that told him, yeah, go ahead, post that, it's fine. Go ahead, you have my consent, go ahead. So obviously he thought what he was doing was not a criminal act. But they don't want it to be an ethics dilemma, so nobody will file it. So here we are, you know, hopefully he will get enough publicity that people, and you're right, if he was a millionaire, he'd be out. But nobody wants to step forward, and like I said, who do you go to? Thank God you guys are here. My daughter loves you, by the way. I told her she's in Michigan. She's like, oh my God. But anyhow, who do you go to when you're a victim of the police? And I just want to say, the first time that I was arrested in the initial raid last year, we had a really great bail bondsman, wonderful experience, across the street bail bondsman, who helped us out so much that he was the reason that Ed got released. And he was wonderful, and he called, and I actually just called him to see if he was going to come. But you can't fault people for, you didn't make the criminal justice system, you didn't make the bail system, but that's your livelihood, that's what you do. That's the career that you're in. You know, and you police those people, and you make sure that they're held accountable, and you make sure you know where they are. My PTSD does not come from the bondsman. It comes from the U.S. Marshals. It comes from the police. It comes from the public defender. It comes from the prosecutor's office. Because every day now, I'm afraid that they'll just come, you know, busting down my door and arrest me for something. So, yeah, thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you so much. There is help. So does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Ma'am, why don't you go ahead?
Yes, I'm Nancy, I'm Miss Nancy's bail bond.
Hey, Miss Nancy.